Hey guys, we're going to be live in just a minute. If you're coming later on and watching the show, I'll put time code in the description. It'll tell you right where to jump to get to where it starts. So hold tight and we'll be with you in just a minute.
Silhouetted images and industry teasers are finding their way into our homes and invading our minds. Their calculated information is delivered to your attention on radio-controlled frequencies. It's an RC conspiracy. We are on your side, cracking the RC code, because the truth is out there. Welcome to the RC Conspiracies podcast. Get your decoder rings ready and put on those tinfoil hats, because your fearless leader is here. Welcome to the RC Conspiracies podcast.
When freaky aliens give you lemons, make freaky alien lemonade.
Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to RC Conspiracies. We have a special guest with us today. Brandon from freshsqueezedrc is here. RC Lemonade. We're going to have him come in, kind of talk about his RC journey, the things he's working on, just a whole bunch of cool stuff. So I'm excited about that. Maybe we'll even get to end it with a burnout. Who knows? Hopefully. So stick around for that, guys. A couple things we'll go through real quickly. And you guys let me know if you are hearing the weird audio stuff that I'm hearing, because my headphones are glitching up real bad right now. But if you guys haven't subscribed yet, the While My Batteries Charge podcast, I have that going still. Some of you guys don't even know I have the podcast. We'll see if we can get Brandon on for that as well. Have a little bit longer in-depth discussion through his RC journey, how he got into it, all that kind of stuff, maybe on there even at some point, and we'll do that interview. This is RC Conspiracies. Brandon came to mind last night when we were talking about Kyosho and the new, we're seeing it right here, what they've got coming. And it's a new, it's a new Camaro, a ZL1 body Mini Z, and it looks awesome. LED lights and all that. So that was just announced. That's the new news. But let's get off of all that stuff and let's bring Brandon in here and see what he is up to. All right, Brandon, you are on, man. How is it going?
What's going on, dude? How are you, Tony?
I'm doing good. Someone's saying turn down the gain, so they are getting the crackle that I'm hearing. They're hearing it as well, so we'll see if we can get that gain cranked down a little bit. You guys keep letting us know here in the chat. All right, so Brandon is with us, and we're going to be talking through a little bit of your RC journey, like I said, and I'm still getting some crazy feedback. Sounds overdriven, they're all saying, which doesn't make sense to me. But that's just on my end. We can trade out my microphone if we need to here. But I think all of the sound was sounding that way. Give me 2 seconds, you guys. Because I just took off my other microphone that I was using last night, and I need to find, if I need to go to that, where I put it. Is it still sounding overdriven? Or now is it just really quiet?
Sounds a little better, I think.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Why it's sounding like that.
It's probably just me. It's not you, I'm sure. It's not you, it's me.
All right. Jaden Doyle says better. All right. So we got Brandon with us. Brandon, how long have you been doing RC? Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, how you got into the hobby, because we know it's taken you some cool places recently. But where did it all start?
Like as a kid, like so many of us, like, you get like a Tamiya kid or like a garage sale buy or something, and that's kind of how my first RCs always were. They were just garage sale buys. And my mom like go to garage sales. So we'd find RC cars at garage sales. And I couldn't even tell you, my first one was probably fairly nondescript, but, I had so many of the old classics. And then, kind of got away from that and started like racing, like motocross and quads and sport bikes. And, fast forward, I guess, like 20 years, and my daughter comes along and I slow it down and RC cars come back into the picture. And I mean, that's kind of how it all was, nothing really special. I didn't like win any championships or anything like that. I just, RC cars are fun. They transcend motorsports. They can, they're fun for everybody. If you're young or old or, male or female or whatever, like they're just fun. Like you can't put a controller in someone's hand and not love it,
Right. I kind of had a little bit of that same type of journey with you, where I got to the point where it's like, okay, I'd like BMX. That was my thing. But if I hurt myself, like I can't work. And at some point,
Exactly.
Working became more important than going out and riding BMX. And I wanted something to jump and enter the RC car. And
Yeah, it
just
makes sense, man.
I didn't know, man. I had no idea that there was like RC car racing. Like I was so out of touch with the whole industry 7 years ago. I had no idea it existed beyond like what you could buy at Target or whatever.
I mean, man, it is a totally different, it's a totally different thing than it was, for sure. It was, how far it's come, like in our lifetimes, is pretty incredible, I think. The amount of technology that we have and stuff like that is nuts. The fact that you can, program your ESC on your phone, pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And now you can do it over Bluetooth, right? Even.
Yeah, exactly. The hobbling axe, you just Bluetooth to it, program it. Like, it's nuts. Even like on the trail, you can program your ESC. Like, who would have thought?
Yeah. I have the one for the Castle Creations. It's a little bit trickier to get into it all, but that when I tried the axe system, oh my goodness, that was a game changer for me. I was like, this is unreal.
They're really, really good. I have the 2700 kV 550, and then I have the 2300 kV 540 and the Gen 8 axe.
Okay.
But man, they're both great. I really want 3300 kV and something, but I just haven't gotten around to buying one yet. So
I think my axe is 1200 kV. Mine's like the low end. Like it's
super mega crawler version. Yeah.
It is like so slow, but it's the smoothest thing. It's just so much fun to run.
And it's so powerful. If you don't watch it, and you're trimmed up, so it's just kind of crawling. You straight twist a wheel off the thing, because it'll just keep pulling. So if it gets in a bind, you got to watch it. But if you're paying attention, you're not overzealous with your trims and stuff. Like, man, those systems are like incredibly easy just to get out there and crawl with. They're awesome.
So you do a whole bunch. One of the things I think is cool about, like, I found your stuff initially on Instagram. I don't remember what I saw first on Instagram that made me follow you on there. I'm pretty sure, though, it was your drifting. I remember like your little drift garage and the car coming out and sliding across it and down off the little ramp and all that. I think that was one of the first videos I saw, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. And I don't know how it got suggested to me, even through the Instagram world, I guess. But since then, man, I've had to buy the Kyosho Rampage, because before Pro Line, did heat wave, right? You had some heat wave stuff.
Yeah, I did it. Man, I did it, I guess probably like a year ago now.
I can pull them up here.
Oh God, I'm so unprepared. Let me grab it. Hold on.
Or you can grab it. That's probably easier and better.
So yeah, I mean, here's my version. You know, the body just really made sense. So
yeah,
it was like kind of a no-brainer. And as soon as I saw when I got the truck and I saw the clear body, and I'm a huge fan of Heatwave Visual. I mean, they make like cool, gear and stuff, and they sponsor Chris Eisenhower, and he has this killer truck. I mean, this is the pre-crash version, but just like I knew I had to paint it this, with this scheme on it, and man, it really turned out good. I got the little exhaust on it, and
yeah. So I would say that one of the things that I also noticed about your stuff right away, because I do remember it was the Hooney truck. I remember is what I saw that first video sliding off, and thinking, okay, that's a really cool replica of that. And then the heat wave. So one of the things that you do is you do really cool scale detail of things that are like real cars. You scale them down and you rework them, and you make them kind of your own in an RC world. What got you into doing that? Like saying, I want to take this car that's made by Kyosho and I want to, or the Hoonigan truck, and make it look like that and drift it. Yeah.
I mean, I've just always been a fan of, Ken Block and Hoonigan stuff, way back, and, back in the Subaru days, kind of like in its infancy. I mean, I don't know. And I know some people don't know who Ken Block is, but and some backstory on Ken Block is he's was co-founder of DC Shoes.
Really?
So, yeah. So you didn't even know that.
No, back in the day, man, for me, I remember when those came out.
Co-founder of DC Shoes, and then he sold his share and started kind of doing his whole, rally racing and Gymkhana stuff, and
even cooler somehow,
right?
Guy that started DC Shoes, right?
Right. So, man, I don't know. It was kind of, I was just a fan. Like, I loved all the old school Donut Garage videos, when they could just have people out and they could shred freely, and it wasn't like a big deal. No, no one was getting in trouble. And man, I just watched that stuff for so long. And one day I was hanging out with one of my buddies. I said, dude, I want to build that Donut Garage, like just stay outside of it, and I want to drift a car on it. And at this point I'd never even tried to actually drift a road car, RC car.
Yeah.
So we knocked the construction out in a day. It was a full day, a long day. And then I spent the better part of 2 days painting it, all the containers, all the background, all that's hand painted. And then I didn't even have a roof on it. And I posted one little clip of the Chevelle, going up the ramp kind of, and almost coming off as it went up. It's really old. You'll probably never find it.
Yeah, I'm just showing people some of your stuff while we're going through here.
And man, they reposted it, and it was my page went ballistic. I mean, I think I went from it was I doubled my followers in 24 hours. It was crazy.
Wow.
And it just kind of started this relationship, this RC relationship, because so many of those guys, all the Formula Drift guys are RC guys. They all play with RC cars. They're all gamers. They all play Forza or whatever. I don't. I mean, I'm not a gamer, but I mean, they're so relatable, because when you get down to it, they're all just kind of regular guys, man. I mean, all the Hoonigan guys are so down to earth. They're so cool. They're exactly who you want them to be. You know what I mean? They're who you like. You're like, all right, I really hope they're cool. And they are.
Yeah.
Like, they're cool. They're just like me and you and just like everybody else that you get along with. Like it was just like your old friends. You know what I mean? It was, I mean, I don't even know. It blows me away to this day that I've gotten to like experience so many cool things from RC. It's just.
Yeah. So speaking of doing some cool things, tell everybody you got to go to the Hoonigan compound and you got to show them basically your really cool builds that you have of some of their vehicles as RC cars. Like here's one of them. This one you recently did, right? Is this one of them that you just recently took there?
No, that's not even one of their cars, actually.
No, that's not the one.
No,
I thought you were working on that one for it.
That's just kind of one. That's a Red Cat chassis. They've reposted it and stuff. And it's a lot of fun. But that's not like a
shark cart, right? My internet's kind of going slow here.
It's all right. We'll get there. We'll get there. We got time.
Yeah, it's like chugging.
So like that was the Hoona truck.
Yeah, you were doing the burnouts with that one. I was looking for one of them that was sliding because I had the video of one. I think that truck sliding around. I'd open up all this stuff to go through one by one, and then I jumped out of order. So we'll just kind of slowly let my internet chug for a second. Oh yeah, that was your cool monster truck stuff. I think that's where I ended up. I had a lot of the heat wave because that was really when I was like, okay, here we go. That's cool. So there's actually you with Ken Block with the Hoona truck.
Yeah.
And all the guys there checking out the cars.
It's Brian Scotto.
Sitting on right here. What chassis and stuff are you running on this?
That's actually a two-wheel drive LCG / chassis.
Okay.
It's so got
that's the basic like the dragster setup that people do with them.
Yeah, pretty much. It's got a little different wheel and tire setup because there was nothing that really made sense for I guess, like that body because it's not like a pro street car.
Right.
So I ended up putting like 2.2 crawler wheels on it. And then I put like some stretch J Concepts front runners tires on the front. And then I think some HPI WR8 tires on the back. But it worked, Yeah,
look at that. That's so cool. I was trying to find the truck one. Maybe I don't have it here. I should have went back and preloaded all these before I went live. Here's the one I was looking for. All right, this is going to be loud for a second, so we'll let it drift, and then we'll come back. This is one of them you took there, right?
Yeah, that's the shark cart.
So tell me about that. What made you decide you wanted to go for that build? Because that required a lot of extra work to make all of that happen.
I think that's why I wanted to do it. It was like I had heard talks of people talking about wanting to do it or whatever. And I'm like, man, like, I'm just going to do it. And I had been building bumpers and sliders and some like light cage work and stuff and TIG welding. And I don't do it for like a living. I mean, I work like a regular job like everybody else, but I, do a lot of fabrication. I've always done a lot of fabrication. So it just kind of came naturally and it just made sense. I was like, man, I can use some of my skills that can kind of like elevate this project, to the next level. Like I don't want a styrene cage or whatever on my drift car. Like doesn't make any sense. I want a styrene bumper, bash bars. You know what I mean? Like doesn't do you any good. Granted, it is heavy. It's like 7 pounds.
That thing is 7 pounds.
Yeah, loaded out, battery, everything. Because the whole like the side tubs, like the boat sides, you could call it if you're a crawler guy. those are stainless. Like the whole thing is stainless, and
Wow. Okay.
it's just a cage that sits on top of a phaser chassis.
Wow. I'm trying to see if there's pictures of it I can pull up here. I'm trying to scroll through real quick and see.
They're in there for sure. I've got it here, or I've got just the cage work because I got to go through and do all the diffs, and I mean it's just been beat on forever, and I want to touch up the paint on the cage and stuff. So I can grab that if you want.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what the cage looks like.
Yeah, you can definitely kind of see how it goes on.
So, guys, this is a good time too. If there's anything that you have as far as questions, I don't know if you guys have seen all of his stuff yet, but man, is it impressive! And actually, I mean, you have a much bigger collection of cars than I thought, or I remembered as I started going through all this. It's pretty impressive to look at the different cars that you have because it's pretty diverse as well. Like I was saying earlier.
I mean, that's I like to kind of enjoy all the aspects of the hobby, and I genuinely do. Like I really like to drift. I have a lot of fun doing that, and I really like going fast. I like bashing, but like, man, like taking it easy and going slow and hanging out with a couple of your buddies and crawling, that's not bad either, for sure. And doing like scale monster truck stuff, and I think what I've like really learned that I've liked so much about this hobby is bringing kind of what I thought was only a crawler thing with like the really scale aspect, and like incorporating it into like these Hoonigan builds and stuff, and that's what's kind of like really like kind of got me hooked, and I'm working on some really cool ones, so it'll be cool.
So you've got more stuff coming.
More to come. There's so much more coming.
So,
oh yeah.
Looking at that,
I've got like my Mona Lisa.
The Mona Lisa is coming. The holy grail of cars.
For me, anyway. Like to this point, it will be my best work by far.
So tell me, we're looking at the chassis you've got right there. How long does something like that take for you? If you're into fabrication, you know what you're doing. How long does something like that take you to build?
So, I mean, I don't have a TIG machine at my house.
Okay.
So like I do this on my lunch breaks at work. I just like on my first break at work, I'll cut material, rough cut material. And then like I just weld as much as I can on my lunch break. But all things considered, if I could sit down, I could like rough this out in 8 or 10 hours, probably, realistically. I mean, to make it square and make it look good, and you don't want it looking weird like at angles. You know what I mean? You can tell when something isn't square. It just doesn't look right. And
yeah,
this, you know what I mean?
That's
so, I just, if you're going to go through all the time and trouble, it's worth kind of like making sure it looks right from all the right angles. So, and that's kind of tricky with RC's cars too, because they're not really square, especially crawlers and some of the plastic touring cars. They're not 100% square. Your dimensions aren't like on the money all the time. So you kind of have to make it look square, even if it's not square in some cases, but that, it's just how it goes.
So is that your other ones are based off of what chassis would you say, like your Hoona truck? Is that something that you did a whole lot of custom work for, or is that something that you took a platform that was out there and you just kind of did the body for it and, souped up the truck to make it do the burnouts and drive like you want?
That one started out as an HPI RS3 Sport Hoonicorn.
Okay.
And then it, the Hoona truck dropped, and I remember thinking like, I have to make that. And I had never even attempted to do like a scale RC build at that point. And I was just like, well, I have to make it. So that day I went to the hobby shop and I bought that Vatera body. It's just the V100 Ford F100 body. It's the wrong body, but it's close enough. You know what I mean? It's like you can't get a body for every make and model. So yeah, it's just the off the shelf Vatera V100 body, and then I super like there's almost no body left on the fenders because I had to cut it out so much to make it ride the right way.
Yeah.
So I cut fender flares off of like a BMW touring car body, and I made the wing, and it was just, it was like, but it's at that point it was just on an HPI chassis. Now it rides on a Kyosho chassis. The HPI chassis it broke every time you did a burnout, and it just got old.
So which one did you say it's on now? It was on an HPI?
Yeah, it was on HPI RS3 Sport, and now it's on a Kyosho MK2 phaser chassis.
Oh, okay. You like that setup, I think, that the Kyosho I've noticed.
I really do. Just it's so reliable and it's so easy to work on, and it just does everything. Like, I'm not gonna say it's the best at like anything, but it's so good and like at just kind of doing everything. It makes it kind of the best, in my opinion, for like an RTR car that you can just buy. Like, man, like you can run the thing on 3S. I mean, check temps on that brush motor, but they'll last a little while. You can put drift tires on it. You can slide the thing around just fine right out of the box. You can jump them, you can bash them, you can slide them. They just make great cars. Like, I have a setup for everything on the phaser chassis. Drag cars, speed run cars. About to have a rally car set up.
And one of the things we were talking earlier, because this all came together kind of last minute, and you were saying that they rarely break. Like, you've had very few breaks with them too.
I mean, and if y'all have seen my Instagram and YouTube, I'm really hard on the cars, with burnouts, and I've got one that's probably good for 100 miles an hour if it had a different body on it. But I mean, I've broken like one axle and stripped one spur gear, and I think that sums up the parts I've broken on phaser cars. Like, I'm not joking. Like.
Here, Shane Keenan says he learned a lot from watching your videos. Says you even answer his dumb questions.
Well, cool. I try to answer them all. I need to do more on YouTube. I don't know. I just don't want to.
There's something like, even when I was coming through to pull this together, like even right here, we'll play this really quick for people. There's something really cool about having like the quick short snapshots that people can just quickly see of the cars. They don't have to watch a whole lot, but you basically show how cool people can be with these things and the really crazy stuff that you can do with them, from burnouts to drifting. And that one there, lighting a match. Is that what you're doing there?
Yeah, and that's not a strike anywhere match. See that little tape, that thing taped in blue tape right there? That's the striker panel.
Wow.
It's a little 2x2 square. There's a video I posted before that a couple days that's even more rad, I think.
It just gave me that as kind of a preview for some reason.
Yeah.
Off of this one. But yeah, even this one is something that you custom built. And so this is completely different than everything we've talked about. And this is utilizing that new 777 servo from Reefs. And it's moving those tires. You're showing there. That's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's I've got it right here. It's kind of I don't know. Sometimes, when you build stuff, it starts in your head one way, and I really don't draw anything out. I don't really write anything down. I just kind of like go with it and try to kind of make stuff organically. So, like, I don't know. that's probably my downfall because it starts one way and it ends up another way. But I mean, this is like my first bouncer build per se. And basically it's all tube frame. It's all stainless, TIG welded, like 3/16 solid. So
That's awesome looking.
it's got the
Tough with that short top on it there, with the windows being so squat. It's so tough looking.
Yeah. So kind of the funny story is originally this was supposed to have a Power Wagon body on it. And
okay.
I was just going to use like some cab panels and the hood panel. And man, it just, like, I started going and I just didn't like it. And it just it ended up, I mean, way off from what I thought. But I wanted that like low profile, kind of like old hot rod, like roof line, you know.
That's what it looks like, man. I dig it. I
gotta do some more work on it, but this is kind of stage one.
I saw even Ryan Anderson was making comments about that chassis. He was watching what you were doing with it because he was curious. He's looking to build something. I just happened to see it in the comments.
Yeah.
When you were showing that thing off.
Like, man, that stuff just blows me away. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think it's based on a Gen 8 pack kit. So basically the whole like center section just kind of bolts in there.
Oh, wow.
So basically you can take 4 bolts out of the center section and take the shocks loose and drop the whole thing right out.
That's pretty cool. So Hobbytown, Virginia Beach. And actually we were going to talk about, because you have a challenge going on right now. I saw that you're encouraging people to get their videos in. They're saying they want to do a drift challenge. They're ready for some drift challenges from you. So you got a lot of watching your stuff, man.
We're going to do that. So the Burnout challenge ends next Saturday. I think it's the 16th. And then I'll announce the winner. There's well over $100 worth of prizes. And then also the Hoonigans, kind of threw down their own RC Burnout challenge. So I don't know if that's going to correlate with mine like it did on the last one or not, but we'll just see how it goes. But I would highly suggest, if you think you have an RC car that could do a burnout, tag me, tag the Hoonigans, and then also use hashtags FSRC Shred and RC Burnout Challenge. And let's see some stuff, man, because it's a really good prize that everyone's going to get. And I'm sure the Hoonigans are going to throw in some cool stuff like they did the last time, some free gear. And what's not like about that for some RC tires?
All right. So speaking of the Hoonigans, how did they find out about your stuff and invite you over? And they did a whole video with you and they had you back out again. So I've been watching kind of all this happen. And you're like, I got some big news. I can't tell everybody yet. And all this stuff was happening on Instagram. And I'm like, what is going on? And then I saw the video with the Hoonigans. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Man. They reposted that first clip and that kind of started our relationship. And, I started doing more Hoonigan stuff, and then I was drifting the Hoonicorn around and they were reposting that. And then Ken Block reposted it. And it was like, oh my God, it was blowing my mind. Cause here I am, I was so new to the Instagram RC stuff. And it was just like things were happening. And I'm like, whoa. So, and then actually I don't know, man, in 2018, maybe 2017, we went to Formula Drift in Dallas, got invited out there. So me and a buddy went out there and, got to do the whole behind the scenes thing at Formula Drift in Fort Worth. So that was cool. And that was kind of the first getting to meet a couple of the Hoonigans, but we got to meet all the Formula Drift drivers and go in the pits and man, from there it just took off. And it was like, my guy that I had been talking to, that was kind of the media guy at the time at the Hoonigans, he hits me up and he's like, hey man, you should really make it out to the last Burnyard event this year. And that was, we're going to be my first time going to the donut garage and going to, to the Burnyard. And I was like, all right. And I bought a plane ticket, and I brought the shark cart and Hoona truck and got to meet everybody and tell them about the builds. And I mean, I got to drift around the donut garage, dude. Like,
yeah, right.
Like and then Kyosho came out to the Burnyard and I got to work the booth with Kyosho, part of the time and, hang out. And man, it was just like so surreal, like I remember when I got to the donut garage the first time, I'm standing there thinking like I can't believe I'm here. I built this little mini version. I do these little mini versions of stuff they do, and like that's somehow gotten me here.
But they're just big kids in a way, right?
Yeah, man, they're just like us. They're so cool. They all love RC. Like I said, it's like the whole experience has been like I can't even explain like how cool and like how grateful like I am. It's just like it's been awesome. And then the last time getting to go and meet Ken Block and see him shred 2 cars, and getting to talk and hang out with him, and like spent a good amount of time talking to his head mechanic Greg. I built the replica of his car. And he was just over the moon. Like he loved it. It was just, man, it was so cool. It was just like, it makes you feel proud of what you're doing,
Yeah. Well, your stuff is really awesome, man. Some people are in here talking about the 777. It's like, it's for when you just want to move the rocks out of your way.
Yes, that's 100% what that is. This thing is, I'm only running it on 3S. And it's nuts. Like it has no problem. I can scoot this thing like across the garage just by steering it. Like it'll just.
Wow.
It never got hot when I ran it. I did end up breaking an axle on it. But I mean, the servo's fine. And this is the old Gen 8 stuff. So there's no like hardened chrome moly axles and stuff like that in it. So,
okay.
Not yet.
How does that work? That one has to be direct into a battery, right?
Yeah, so it runs off the balance port of your battery. Okay. So you could even run just like a separate, like little drone pack or flat pack or something if you wanted. Like, let's say you're running your whatever on 4 or 6S and you only want to run this on 3S, then you just get like a little drone pack and run right off the balance port. That being said, you have to make sure you unplug it, because it'll keep feeding power to the servo and it'll drain the battery. But I mean, the software is super easy to use, easy to understand. Like it makes sense.
So I've never had a servo that had software programming for it.
Me either. It's weird. Like I said, how far we've come, we have this hobby wing stuff and we have this reef stuff. And I mean, I know there's other servo brands that have programming capability. But the basic software layouts, it's really simple. And what's it? CCxRC. He did a really, really good like write-up video on.
Yeah, man, he's really technical with this stuff. I love watching his videos.
So if you want like how to program the servo, go check his page out, because that guy. Like and I don't know, it's just always a good watch. I really like that guy's channel.
Yep. So I'm seeing your cup, and this is going to change subjects completely, just out of the blue. But Fresh Squeezed RC, RC Lemonade, where'd the name come from? I'm curious for sure.
Yeah, I've actually answered this question quite a few times, and I get it. Dude, honestly, I was over at a buddy's house, and we were all like hanging out and barbecuing, and I've had several Instagram pages, and in the past. There was like, like outdoor sports like guns and fishing and hunting. I had a page, and like a motorcycle page, and with various levels of success. But I'd stopped doing all that, and we were over there at my buddy's house, and I just joked around. I was like, I'm gonna make an RC Instagram page. and I'm literally like just sitting there thinking about it, and for whatever reason, RC Lemonade just popped in my head, and I just I looked over at my buddy. I said, I'm gonna use RC Lemonade. That's gonna be my name. And he just laughed, and I just made the account right then.
Nice.
And then I did end up,
right,
the account name to freshsqueezedrc, but that was just to match the YouTube channel. But the freshsqueezedrc just made sense. It was like a play off RC Lemonade. So
yeah, I think it's cool. Everything's there's something too just about like, I don't know, fresh squeezed RC, but like fresh squeezed lemonade, when you think about it too, like it's just so much better. It's like the real deal.
Yeah, so. Right. I appreciate it, dude. Like, I mean, I don't know, it worked out good. Like I said, I never would have guessed. But man, I'm, when you find, like when you become like really passionate about something, and you find your like little niche that keeps you like sane and happy and healthy, like man, it's easy to like really enjoy it, and it shows. I think like just putting some effort into something, man, it pays off. It pays off for sure.
Yeah,
just do it.
Now remind me to go back to the Madman, because that's something there's so many questions on this channel about, and anytime I'm in somebody else's live stream and I'm just in the chat, the Madman seems to always get brought up. But I was going to ask you something else. Now I'm all thinking about is the Madman. Brain fart. So I guess just tell us about the Madman. So you've upgraded yours. I love mine. Like mine's still like bone stock 2S. That's all I've done with it. I haven't adjusted a thing, and I keep running it like that. And people always ask, "Oh, how do you like the Madman?" I'm like, dude, I'm still running it like day one. Like, and they like, why don't you upgrade it? And for me, it's more time. Like we've talked about like all the things that I need to upgrade it. You've kind of given me the details, and it's just one of those things like, it's one more thing to work on, and I just haven't had time. It's just when all the other stuff breaks, I can count on that thing to always run, and it's just like, I don't want to change that just yet. But you've changed it, so tell people what these things are capable of.
I mean, currently the setup I have is Hobbywing Max 10 120 amp ESC, so 2 to 4S, and it's on a 4600 kV motor, 5mm shaft, like the bigger 10 scale. You can run it in 8 scale buggies too. It's got some factory Kyosho parts like the motor mount. Center drive shaft is a must if you go brushless. You have to have that center drive shaft. It's like a $10 part, and it looks cool too. And what else do I have? Man, there's a couple other little odds and ends, but like not much. And
keep going. My computer's frozen, so you keep talking if you can still hear me.
The thing is absolutely insane. On 3S, and I have it on. Oh, I do have the steel Kyosho spur gear on it, and I think a 22 tooth pinion. And I run it on 3S, and it is insane. I mean, there's that one speed pool on Instagram. That's a 70-mile-an-hour van. And I've worn out a couple drive cups and broken a diff, but man, when you throw that much power at something, it's going to happen. It's that's the way it goes. These cars are so fast, and they're made out of plastic mostly, so you can only expect things to break at some point. It has no audio. We lost Tony. I'm still here, guys. It's fine. I have my lemonade. I'm hanging in there. Cell phones for the win. Build something. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Oh,
All
you're
right.
back.
Am I back?
Thank God, I was floundering. I was scared.
Dude, my computer just completely locked up.
I was about to have a panic attack. But I held it.
So I missed it. Like I missed half of everything. So whatever you said about the Madman, I will not be able to do to mine.
All right,
so I don't know what to do with myself now.
I'm
I guess
sure.
I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, you could do that. But honestly, I think back to that subject, I think the best setup because there's that clip on Instagram of the Madman making like a speed pool in the parking lot, kind of like the back alley of that like shopping center. And it's got to be a 70-mile-an-hour truck on 3S. I've never run it on 4S. There's no way to run it on 4S. That thing will wheelie at, like almost 70 miles an hour. I guarantee you. If you put it down too early, it goes right over, which you can also see on my Instagram page. So.
I've seen it. You were ripping it down the beach in one of the videos. It was going nuts.
Yeah. It's just, man, the thing is so fast. And I think the best setup is like a 3300 kV. If you want to go brushless, go like a 3300 kV. Because it's so much power on 4600. It's overkill. It doesn't make any sense. Like a 540 can, 3300 kV or 3500 kV is like the sweet spot on that truck.
So one of the questions I had that I was going to ask before I went into that, I just remembered what it was. Your filming is really awesome. Do you have some kind of background in photography, design, any of that kind of stuff? Or, I mean, it's really good looking stuff. As far as your framing, everything's really good.
Man, I have a really good, I have a good camera person, honestly. My my sister, she runs a camera.
Okay.
And it's nothing fancy. It's a GoPro 5, like on a homemade stick. It's a graphite golf club shaft that I cut the head off of and then zip tied a GoPro mount to. And we shoot with an old junky GoPro 5, and that's what we do. And I mean, it's, you know, I like, you know, I'm kind of like the producer, you know, I kind of just tell her where to be and like what I'm planning on doing. You know, it doesn't always work out like that, but, and she's got it. She follows the car really well, and she does a great job of keeping the car in frame. Like burnout videos, I usually shoot those. Crawler videos, I shoot a lot of those.
Yeah.
But anything where, you know, if I'm drifting or something, there's no possible way I could drift like that and also
follow the car.
There's no way. You just can't do it. There's some chase videos that I'm actually pretty proud of that turned out really neat. That were like the Audi R8 Kyosho. I was drifting it, and it's like the camera's in front of the car, and I'm doing, you know, like 360s and sliding, and, you know, and it's like the car's chasing the camera. Well, like the funny thing about that is like I'm sitting on the tailgate of a truck, and I had a GoPro mount stuck to the end of my Converse, and I was foot camming.
With your shoe.
Yeah, so if someone was driving the truck, I'm driving the car and shooting video with my foot. But man, it turned out great. It made
Most people don't realize goes into these things, right?
Yeah, you know what? The thing about RC cars and like having a good page or channel or whatever, you know, having those like dynamic shots is you got to go like way out of your way, and you're probably going to look dumb to other people, and you're going to get dirty, and you know, it kind of, you know, it becomes some work, but man, it's just fun. It's fun creating kind of these like really rad full size esque clips, like, but just with the little car, you know, like when people tell me, oh, I thought that was real, I thought that was actual Donut Garage, it's like, that's the highest compliment, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, accomplished, like that's what you want.
Yeah, you've got a pretty cool setup that you do with all of the different things that is like a scale Hoonigan yard.
Yeah.
Like
I got the Donut Garage, and then I've also kind of got the burn yard set up.
The burn yard, yeah, that's what I was trying to look for here.
It takes a lot to set that thing up. You know, it's all the containers, and there's like fences and.
Did you make all the containers and all that for it?
Yeah, I made every bit of everything.
Is that something I can find on YouTube, or is that easier to find on
man,
Instagram?
if you go to my Instagram and go like back just a few posts, there's like a minute-long clip of the burn yard.
All right, I'm seeing
there's
the
a red Camaro.
Let me see here. That is not it. Red Camaro. I'm trying to pull it up here before we go. There it is. All right, here we go. So here's his outdoor setup of the burn yard.
Yeah, so I can like pretty much take this anywhere, but I like it in my garage.
That's a Tamiya trailer?
No, I made that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just wood. It's like you got to kind of think about stuff like this. It's like a Hollywood like stage, you know what I mean? Like they're props.
Stage kind of thing, props.
That trailer doesn't roll, man. It's made of wood.
Right.
It's got wood axles.
I was just going to ask if it's wood or cardboard or what it was made out of.
It's got wood axles with like actual. Those are actually Kyosho Outlaw Rampage 2.0 Pro wheels, spray painted black, stuck on there. And
then this is all made out of wood too. Here, these crates in the back.
Yeah, everything's just like plywood and 1x1s or whatever.
That's super cool. I was going to take everybody over to your YouTube page here real quick,
All right.
and show them, because one of the things that I saw recently that you had, now I had it all loaded up, but we'll have to go find it.
Man, it's just, it's one of those things. Just a lot that goes into it,
Here's this one, the shred at the donut garage that you did. That was a cool one.
That's so you guys, early drift stuff.
Yeah. So here, you also sold me on the Kyosho Phaser Mark II Dodge Charger, which is something I'm working on. Now, I will say the one curious thing about the Phaser lineup for me was the screw that holds on the wheels was so weird for me to not have like a nut. And I'm like, well, this ain't going to work out good.
Yeah,
I've had no issues at all.
Yeah, I've had no issues. And I thought the same thing because I have a previous version Phaser.
Okay.
And it had a standard, hex, like a standard, 6mm hex on it or whatever. And I was a little worried about that myself. And man, it's never been an issue on any of the Phaser based stuff. So, but yeah, definitely different.
So this is what got my attention, because I was trying to build something of my own with all my scale stuff, and I saw that you'd done this on YouTube, and basically I got my ideas for how to build it from what you used as the roll, what's it called, the paper cloth, plaster cloth that is on a roll, and you just make these hills and stuff out of them. And once I saw you did this and you told me what you used, I went and did a whole bunch of like model train researching and all that about how they make some of the different things. That's where my video came from when I did the series about how to build it. Was basically inspired from your video on what you did for your cool setup that you've got.
I appreciate that, dude. I mean, that was kind of like, it was one of those things. I already had the most scale tiny truck out there, and I was like, well, now I need a scale little environment, and I wanted something that was lightweight, like I can take it inside, I can have it out in the garage, it can fit right over the coffee table in my house.
Yeah.
And it's something fun.
It's all one piece, right? It's like a 4x4. Is that what it is? Sheet of plywood or bigger?
I think it's 3x5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just two people pick it up and walk it?
Yep. And it's got a little 2x4 frame underneath it. And it's really stable, and you can fit it out any standard doorway.
Okay. That's smart.
Yeah. And man, it's fun, dude. Everyone loves it. Like, it's like the most fun little thing. It's like having like one of those beanbag games or something, that everyone plays, but it's RC cars. Like, it's like,
yeah,
no, it's not corn. This is like RC cornhole. Like, it's, I have that, and I have a little axial, and I got another little crawler, and man, everyone loves it. It's like, it doesn't matter who it is. Like, they want to play with that. So, it's fun.
So we've got a bunch of crawler guys in the chat. One of them, Sean RC Adventures, he's not a 1/24th believer, man. He doesn't see how there could be any fun to be had with a 1/24th scale truck. I think I'm phrasing that right, Sean. Is that about basically how you feel about them? We've had this discussion in a bunch of other live streams, but I have that exact Kyosho that you have right there, and it's still in the box because I had to finish a build video on my bench before I could do all the unboxing stuff with it. But tell us about how cool this is, because still there aren't that many people, I don't think, that have them yet, because they just kind of got that first batch out there, 3 weeks ago maybe?
Yeah. They were obviously I know a little bit about Kyosho, but they were trying to do like a worldwide release.
Worldwide, everybody. Yeah.
They want it all to be staged at the same time. So that's kind of why it's been somewhat delayed, I guess. The whole, this whole whatever, pandemic thing going on and all that. But I mean, mine's not really like stock anymore. But sorry, I don't have it. But I did cut the top.
You don't have the Rona?
No, I don't have it. I just work in a dirty shop all day, so I cut the top off mine. But man, I mean, you cannot get like a better looking 24 scale truck than this, like out of the box. Like, yeah, it's expensive for the size, you know what I mean?
But that's the licensing, and it's that hard body for it, right?
But it's not only just that. I mean, when you drive this, like, do you have another tiny scale truck?
I have all of the axial ones I've bought.
Oh, this is going to be the best thing ever then. So,
and I have that one, and I tried to build my course so that would fit too, because I noticed it looked like it might be smaller wheels on it, because the axial ones are really big. The wheels are, well, you mentioned it in your comparison video about how you can't even drive it without the tires rubbing the body.
Yeah, I had to cut the fender flares off of mine. So I do have both trucks, and I've had a couple other ones, and I still have a little ECX, and it's terrible. But
yeah, that was my first foray into it, and I was done with it.
Yeah, so that turned me off of it, because I bought it for my daughter, and it was just so bad. Like, she didn't even like it. And I'm like, all right, if she can't like it, then there's something wrong with it. And I drove it, and yeah, it was terrible. So I still have it, but man, the thing about this little truck, and I know it's gonna like be hard to believe, and it's hard to maybe like, I don't know, quantify, but this truck feels like a 10 scale truck when you drive it. Like, it feels like you're connected to it. Like, for me,
I don't believe you. Just kidding. I'm with Sean on you. I don't believe that.
Like, that good, huh? You know what I mean? It just feels like you can kind of anticipate, you know what it's doing. And for me, like the little axials don't, they just feel kind of like I don't numb, you know what I mean? Like, with your 10 scale crawlers, you can kind of
they're a bit jerky. They're a bit like throttle quick when you're trying to do some things.
I think the main problem is that, they all, and most of the little tiny crawlers all run that worm gear set up, like the high pinion worm gear. So like, if you're not on the throttle, like, it's in a bind. Like,
right.
By design, it's in a bind. So there's no drag brake. There's no motor brake. So these trucks have like a standard little tiny ring and pinion, so they will actually drag brake downhill.
Okay.
So it's just stuff like that, and just the way the programming and the ESC and transmitter is, it feels like what the truck's doing. It just it makes sense, man.
Well, I'd like those controllers, man. They're definitely quality controllers.
Really good.
You feel it for sure.
All their Kyosho transmitters are fantastic for RTR stuff. Like, it's ridiculously good.
I just saw RC Amigos jumped into the chat. He's been working on some
dudes?
He's got some cool looking micro stuff he's working on. He's been showing on Instagram. And I think that's
we've been doing
coming to my course.
We've been talking a little bit about that.
Yeah.
I gave him some measurements.
So
yeah, his stuff will be Kyosho Mini Z friendly too.
Nice.
So
that's key. I mean, even when I build, like, I've been working with my boys on redoing our outdoor tent scale, I'm making sure that I'm measuring it so that it fits both, like the SDX 10 wheelbase, but it'll also go a little bit wider to like the Capra and those that are a little bit wider base.
You got to kind of take in account for things like that, because if you only have like 2 crawlers, then it's not going to work for everyone else's setups.
Yeah, it becomes a Tamiya battery, or not Traxxas battery.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have a minimum adapter and then another adapter, and then it's just it's crazy. But
yeah,
I mean, honestly, these are really cool little trucks, and they're so true to scale. Like, if you go buy a little RC car body, or not RC car, but like a plastic model, like an AMC model, or Revel or Revel or whatever,
Yeah,
it's gonna
they
fit
fit on
this
there.
like a glove and like
Yeah,
be proportionate. You know what I mean?
that's
So
1/25th scale. Then
it's
is that what they say?
they say this is 1/24th scale.
Okay.
That being said, most of their Kyosho Mini Z lineup is 1/27th scale. So I think it
Okay.
kind of falls somewhere in between there. But they're, like on something this small, you kind of have to take some concession somewhere on the scale aspect. You know what I mean? There's something's going to be off. There's no
Right.
way to like make up for that without making like a $500 tiny crawler that no one's going to
Yeah.
buy. So
What'd you do for the back window on that? So when you cut it all out, did you take out the one in the back and move it forward?
no, there's no back window. I just
Okay.
I cut it
They
out and
got the little,
I put some little seat backs. There you go. You can see it.
oh yeah. Yep.
And then I had
So you
some
said you've got some stuff you're working on, so we should go to that. I know you said you might have something that you can do for us as kind of a wrap up too.
Yeah. So,
A couple questions I want to get to, and I'm going to say them now so I don't forget them. But one of them is about what you've got coming. If anything you can share, any updates that are new, what you think is going to be cool this year to do. That can be kind of wrapped together. And then I'm always curious because you have so many. I even just saw a boat on your page recently. What got you back into it? Was it bashing, jumping, crawling? If you could only do one thing, if everybody took all of the other style, RC away, which one would you prefer? Like if you could only do one of the different styles of driving, I guess, or styles of vehicles.
I don't know. I guess what got me back into it, like I said, was just kind of like my whole like love of motorsports. And then when my daughter was born, it was like I was kind of like searching. I stopped racing and stuff, and I was like kind of searching around for like, you gotta like replace that with something. And
right.
And it just like clicked one day, and one of my buddies was like, he let me drive some of his cars, and I just kind of fell back in love with it. And it's been,
What kind of car was it?
It was I think he had a Slash 4x4 and a Stampede, and I broke both of them within like 30 seconds of driving both times.
Oops.
And like, you know what I mean? I just, maybe they weren't put together good. Maybe he didn't know what he was doing at the time. And I thought, man, like this isn't fun. Then the third time I drove, I remember thinking like, wow, like this is actually a blast, But I do have a couple things on the way. One of which I can't talk about, but I can say it is a Hoonigan related vehicle. Like, like I'm like a Hoonigan, kinda.
Okay.
This guy is too. He doesn't like get paid by them, but he has a super rad vehicle, and it's very well known. And
okay,
it's gonna.
Now you got my interest peaked. Is it something that's been to the burn yard?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to start.
More than once.
All right.
And
these are conspiracy things. This
thing has got a full. Yeah, this is perfect. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, this is the perfect thing to have me on. It is like it's got a full 3D printed body. It's gonna come out.
Do you do the printing for that or
no? Pushrod 3D. They did that, but they are sworn to secrecy, so you can't hit them up either.
Okay, we'll see about that.
It comes out to like a 9th scale size. It'll be a rear-wheel drive, but it will have a functioning line lock on the front, like that is activated via 3rd channel on your remote. So you'll be able to stop and flip your 3rd channel, and like rip a big rear-wheel drive burnout and then drive it.
Oh, sick.
Like full 3D printed scale engine from Benchmark RC. I mean, full, stainless cage work and stuff like I'm going to do. I mean, interior, as much interior as I can put in it, that remains to be seen. But I will say this, the chassis is like 80% done. The body is probably 70% done. So I don't know, give or take a month.
It'll take them like 3 weeks to print it.
Yeah, well, no, the body is printed. I've already done body work. The
Matt dropped all you 3D printers out there. I could not take how long it takes to print stuff. And then to have a failure like 8 hours in.
Oh my God. Yeah, it would kill me. It would absolutely kill me. But that's all I can really say about that, man.
Okay.
Just because the guy that commissioned the build, he wants to he wants to do like
he wants to have the ability to share. He doesn't want to have it armored on him.
But I can tell you this much: I will be accompanying the truck to California, and we will be shredding at the Donut Garage with that.
Okay, truck. So we have something to look forward to. That's awesome. So here we go. RC Amigos is challenging you to build with a mega truck or monster truck this year. That'd be cool to watch.
We could do that.
That'd be really cool.
Oh, and I am building the Huna Fox, of course, if you didn't already know.
Somebody just said that. Green Frog was just saying that. Somebody else had a comment I was posting up earlier, but I lost it. Basher Boy had a question. Basher Boy, and I missed it. So if you want to ask it again. Oh, here it is. Any other Kyosho vehicles currently on your wish list? The surfer dude.
I really want that new jet ski guy.
Yeah, that could be cool. That's what, 7 scale? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it the last time I was in California, a little sneak preview, and it's a pretty good size thing. It's it's neat, man. It's super neat. I have their big boat, their 770. I don't know. No, it's a 9. I don't know what it is. It's a big boat. It's like 3 foot long. I have that one at 6S, but like that thing is so cool. I want that legendary series, like chain drive, 4-wheel drive, pan car, road car thing they have. That thing's awesome. It's expensive, but it's one of those niche products. But man, beyond that, I'd like to get another GT2 VE 8-scale road car since I trashed mine.
Okay.
They're just fun,
So back to the question of what type of RC would you, if you could only choose one style of running, drifting, or I guess we could do like on-road, off-road, not be super specific, but off-road being different than crawling, because off-road to me would be more like fast, go fast, like your
like buggy or something.
Yeah.
Man, honestly, probably road car stuff. And if I had to get even more specific, like I like the drifting. Like I like purposely getting as close as I can to something, or you know what I mean, or like making like linking a few turns together. Like man, it's really gratifying. And when you're doing it right and you're kind of like in your little groove, like it's like effortless. It's just like motorsports. It's when it's right, it's so right, and man, it's really awesome. And I think that's what I like about it. And it's not too fast. It's so easy on parts. It's cheap to get into. I really like it.
Well, I'll tell you, I got that Charger, man, and the first time I drove it like I would typically, which is not on road, because I don't do much on road. So I literally like took it to where there was dirt and ruts and things to just make it throw dirt, and good old boys with it, and I couldn't believe what it took. So I went from having an HPI RS4 Sport Flux throw in every other little name and thing you want into the title of it. The Porsche that they had, it was supposed to do like stupid speed out of the box, and you couldn't keep it straight.
Yeah.
But even worse than that is you couldn't keep it from getting the steering bound up with the smallest little
pebble. Yeah.
Yeah, like you'd blow the road down and it didn't matter. It'd still find that one little like piece of salt or sand, and it would jam up the whole steering for
that bell crank sat so low in there.
What a dumb design.
Yeah, it was bad. But hey,
it may have only been that Porsche. I don't know. It's not. I mean, I don't want to be super critical.
All the RS4s are like that, or RS3.
Okay. The body like literally just like scooped that stuff and dropped it right there where that was.
Yeah, it was mine. Mine got it too. Everyone's got it. There's nothing you can do about it. So,
but they looked like cars that you would just drive. I don't know. They weren't like race cars in a way, but they were. So I just expected it to be a little more like the Kyoshos are, where you can just drive it anywhere and it just goes.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I think HPI had some really great products there for a while, and then I don't know what happened. It's unfortunate because they had some really fantastic looking bodies, and I think some really good looking cars, and they had some good people working there, and it just for whatever reason didn't work out. I mean, man, they had the Hoonigan, and they had some licensing,
right?
Huh?
Yeah, the licensing and all that. It's so cool.
Thing. I mean, they had made the Hoonigan. They had several WR8, like Fiesta or Focuses, and really cool stuff. And it's just unfortunate, the parts supply dried up, and so did all their customers. And that's how that goes.
Well, they keep trying. It seems like they're trying to make a comeback again. I just hope they can. They even had like the 5th scale stuff. Like I have the Baja, and I can't get anything for it. And I'm working with Bari Musauer. He does this huge low-C build, like 5th scale electric monster truck. And a lot of the parts are low-C, but there's some of them, like the shocks and stuff, are based off of those Baja. Yeah. And man, we were looking for parts. I was like, we might be in trouble here. But
yeah, that was kind of my thing. My WR8, for instance, I had the latest Ken Block Gymkhana, Fiesta, and
that was cool.
I broke the front bumper mount and couldn't get one forever. But let's just say that's living on in the latest project.
Oh, so, nice. Yeah. Well, cool. I don't want to keep you much later. It's going on 10 o'clock for you there. I don't know if you've got something that you could do for us, like a burnout or anything. That's the one thing you've been doing is the challenge. And so if I know people here would love to see some smoke, and that's one of my favorite things watching. And I would love to be able to see some of that live, because I've always curious how it works. Other than my infraction, I haven't done any burnouts, and I wouldn't know where to begin.
All right. Well, I've already got the car set up and stuff, so we are going to do a burnout.
Nice.
And I'm gonna kind of tell everyone my secret to burnout.
Okay.
You just got to hold the car in one place. And way too much power to it. And that's it. That's it.
Yeah, unless your ESC amps out on you.
That is
just
your thing to figure out. You know what I mean?
Our problem. Yeah.
But
he just got it down to a science, man. You light these tires up like crazy.
Yeah, I've burnt up enough stuff and broken enough parts to figure it out. So it's one of those things. It's like, I promise everybody, it's so much easier than you think. Like, don't overthink this. It's not. It's just, we're just making tire smoke, and we're gonna do it like big time right here. So,
awesome.
All right. Well, I'll get the camera over there. I'm gonna film this because I'm not gonna burn a whole set of tires and not film.
Right.
So
if you guys want to throw super chat in here, any of the money that comes in for that, we'll send it to Brandon to cover cost of tires. So I can't imagine your tire budget. That's the one thing. Like, it pains me to pay for tires for some reason. And I watch you burn through them, and I'm thinking, man, I'm like not wanting to upgrade my tires that are like just worn down from running. And here you are.
I could see that. Let's see. We got the other view. Yeah, I know.
Everybody's joking about the burnout.
I spend probably more money than I should on tiny tires, but you know, it's part of the. So this is actually an HPI body.
That's the car I was talking about. Yeah, I bought it because that body is one of the sickest bodies ever.
Dude, it really is. It's so great. So I've had this body for, man, I don't know, a long time. And it was always one of my favorites. I'm a huge Porsche guy. I love the cars. And this is actually the first time this body has ever done a burnout. So
really?
Yeah.
Don't destroy it.
No.
Does it still have all that bearing in the back and all that?
No, I took it off. I'm not crazy. All right, so transmitter on. We get some GoPros running.
Yeah, the smoke alarm's off.
Yeah, they. Well, I don't have those in my house because it doesn't make any sense to. All right. All right. So
how many cameras are you running for this when you do it here?
Right now I'm just running 2. Usually I run like 3, but
okay.
I got the phone kind of taking up one of the spots, but yeah, this is just power. This is 6S power, 4600 kV rear wheel drive.
4600 kV. Okay, so how many what's the lipo battery you're running? Did I miss that?
It's 6S, it's 2 3S ADC, like 2200 packs.
Whoa, 6S in that little car?
Well, yeah, for burnouts. I mean, you know. Think of my burnouts as like Australian burnout car burnouts.
6S 4600 kV. What's the ESC amperage on that?
It's like a 180, maybe 200.
Okay.
It's 200 amp. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
We'll be fine. All right, we're ready.
All right, this is epic, man. All right, guys, here we go. We're gonna go out with the burnout here in fresh RC fashion. That's a lot of smoke right there. Oh my goodness. Oh, the smoke clears. Look at that. That is epic.
Screenshot, right? So yeah, that's it, man. That's a burnout. About 20 seconds worth of smoke usually.
Wow.
Before the tires are about to tear the body to shreds. So
okay, so you there's a stopping point before things start to blow up.
Yeah, you can hear it usually. When the foams come out is really when the tires, or is really when things get torn up. So
you're going by sound at that point because you can't see. Oh, there's a lineup of your cars there. There's the Samurai, right? Was that what that was on the top?
Oh yeah. Let me
look at how thick that is in there.
Oh, let me flip it back around. So yeah, I got Napalm Nova body. I got the Slamurai.
Yeah.
I got the Red Cat. I got my RMX 2.0 from MST. There's a Chevelle body. And this is probably the body that has been burned out on the most.
Wow.
Like that's all rubber. So, and it's been cleaned before, but it's done. This is like a wall hanger at this point, but.
Wow. Well, cool, Brandon. So yeah, thank you for taking the time, man, to come here and share a little bit about your RC background and what you do. And if you guys aren't already subscribed to him, I have the links down in the description below, both to his Instagram and his YouTube. definitely pump up on his YouTube and get that growing for him. Definitely deserve a lot more subs for the work that you do with RCs, man.
It's me. I got to do more, but it'll get there. And I appreciate you having me. I've had a lot of fun. It's been good talking to you.
Yeah, man. We'll definitely have to keep in touch. I'd be curious about some of the stuff you've got going on. And like I said, I'd love to do the podcast one with you, let you just share over a phone or however, when you got a moment, and just fill in for other people. They love to take their drive. Oh, snap. There's a little teaser right there for us. Anybody know what that's going to be? There's some of you guys that do.
They're Hoonigan fans, they do. So
yeah, they do.
Coming soon. Like, hopefully this weekend it'll be ready.
Are you going to be the one? Are you keeping that?
Yeah, that one's mine. The super top secret one's the one I'm not keeping. So
awesome. So that one's a commission work.
Yeah, the BMW is just for fun, like all the other ones. It's gonna make awesome videos, and man, I like it. There's something about like doing these replicas. It's gratifying. Like when you pull it off, and when people think it's the real thing, for even if it's just like a little split second, like it's cool. So,
dude, and I've got to say about you making things look like the real thing. Even that little 1/24 scale, you did a video on the beach where it was up close and the city was in the background. It looked real. That little Kyosho, you had it framed like super scale.
I got to shout out Mike's RCH on Instagram for that one. He shot that. We were at Corona del Mar. Yeah. Like right on the beach. It's beautiful there. It's such a killer spot. He shot that little clip. But yeah, man, it's, like go to California if you've never been there. It's awesome. Like don't listen to everybody.
Yeah.
It's a great place to visit, I'm sure. I've been there several times now. So
yeah, if you don't have to live in the daily traffic, right?
I mean, come to Houston, dude. It's same stuff.
Oh, that ain't that much better. Yeah, in Detroit, it wasn't much better. Here, I'm in Virginia Beach. We got tunnels and bridges, and we're constantly stuck. So yeah, you're right. But anywhere that people want to be, it's going to be busy.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thanks, Brandon. We're going to go ahead and end it here. And that was another RC Conspiracies podcast / video. And this is one, if you guys are listening to it in podcast form, you want to check out the video, though, so you can see all the cool stuff that he's got. So thanks again for coming on with us last minute.
Yeah,
and
man.
we'll definitely be following.
Dude, it's been rad. Y'all have a good night.
Man. All right, see ya.